Hello and welcome back everybody, I'm Barbarian, and this is Through the Darkest of Times, where I believe we are close to ending this chapter. Somebody pointed out in the comments, and you're of course entirely correct. I could have seen that as well by hovering over it, but you pointed out that, you know, all of these were 6, so it showed the number 6 here when we started the last episode, and now they're down to 2, so this does indeed show for how long these missions are still available. You can see right here, number of weeks this mission will be available. It literally says right there, I just didn't see it. Now, we are in a precarious situation. People are dropping out left and right from our group, you know, be it to go to Moscow, be it to just no longer be a member of such a group to begin with. And we kind of are struggling, you know. We did succeed with our mission. We're up to 114 supporters now. I know that we can go higher up. This is all the fault of the Social Democrats. The reformist collaboration with the capitalists is what opened the door to fascism. A very common attitude, Johanna. But I hope that we can still keep together. Now only Guido Book, that's ourselves, Johanna and Arthur are left. A bit of an odd group, but I think that, and I hope that everything can work out. You know, I don't know how the transitions between chapters work, but I assume that 1936 will reset all of the heat levels and whatnot. Even so, you know, since I'm not entirely certain, I will go ahead and actually put 2 of us here to kind of get everything to calm down. And then Arthur Friedrich can go and recruit some new members. Now, he does not have the best chances of doing that. Not even with additional money. That kind of sucks. Maybe with a leaflet? Ooh. You know what? No, just try your best, okay? He doesn't have the best of luck, but we can try, because at the end of the day, we do need more members, and if it doesn't work out this week, I can do it next week. I think we're going to keep it calm now. We have had one full mega action, so to speak. In the next, you know, chapter will be much more, I think, versatile and much more understanding when it comes to how to use all the opportunities we have to go through with as many mega actions as we can. With that being said, this is already going to be what we are going to do. Yeah, it is a fairly short round, but that is because we're only 3 members. That is incredible how quickly we have deteriorated in group number. We lost 6 supporters. Oh my god, our supporters donated 32 mark. That is quite a number. Please. Ah, he found 3 members. Let's go. That is absolutely beautiful. Has not been seen, which is good. We have a Christian liberal, a social democrat, and a social democrat. Now, I don't think that we have, yeah, indeed, we do not have anyone that is an academic, meaning that a new academic would be good, Dorothea Schmidt or Hans Schmidt, both of which are maybe related. Schmidt is a very common name, it's just literally Smith, of course, in German. And both are social democrats. I think I would welcome having another social democrat in the group, just because it makes it a slightly, you know, a bit more homogeneous, I guess. But who do we pick here? I feel like maybe a bit more propaganda and literacy. I mean, they don't really have big differences. She just has 1 more point in secrecy, where he has 1 more point in strength. I think since I'm focusing on strength, we're gonna go with Dorothea Schmidt. I'm sure the influence of Britain and France will tame Hitler eventually. He needs to adapt if he wants to achieve anything with other nations, yeah. That is something I think that many people thought. Johanna has retreated to a safe place where nobody knows her, and it all worked out. Very nice, okay. We lost some supporters, we did not lose any morale. Let's just continue onwards here. New census. The first census taken since 1925 shows an estimated population of 65,300,000. Autobahn construction begins. A program to start building superhighways known as the Autobahn begins. Now, the Autobahn, of course, was not a new project. The Autobahn was actually a project started by the Weimar Republic, but it has to be said that the Weimar Republic did not actually push it hard enough to make it into a, you know, proper Weimar Republic program. If I'm not mistaken, and I might very well be, I believe that Konrad Adenauer, who would later become the first Chancellor of the Federal Republic of Germany, was the one... I want to say that he was the one that initially started the Autobahn project when he was a mayor of Köln. Now, I might be wrong here, and I probably am, but I think that he started it all together. But the Nazis, of course, did intensify, what? They did more Autobahn, okay? Very good English skills right here. But yeah, no, the Autobahn construction, of course, was used to overcome the Great Depression. You know, 1929 left many people without jobs, and the German state, after 1933, just started to employ those very people by building Autobahnen with their help. Schirach promoted. Baldur von Schirach is named youth leader of the German Reich and leader of the Hitler Youth. Baldur von Schirach, by the way, a very interesting personality, but there is not really enough time to talk about him. You should look him up. At our meeting, Anna Essa approaches me with a dread in her eyes. My brother, the one in the SR. He suspects I'm part of the resistance. How much does he know? I don't know, but the illusions he made were clear. He knows. You know what, Johanna? This has always been very, very hard. It's hard on her, of course, as well. Her entire family apparently organized within the National Socialist apparatus. We're gonna just say you need to stop spying. This is too risky. Keep your brother at a distance, but you can stay in the group, I reply. For now, I think to myself. End of scene. Alright, so far so good. We have survived. Only 1 week left, and of course that week isn't really gonna do too much for us. Johanna Esser, oh god, she's on 5 now. You know what, Johanna, it just costs us, you know, money needlessly really, but I think I'm gonna go ahead nonetheless. I'm gonna find one more person here, if we can. I think I should probably do that. I'm fairly good at this, and then the others can go and either get more money or get more supporters, but I think I would be happier with more supporters. Hilarius Gilgis was murdered. This has to stop, whatever the means are. Right, talk to workers. 1, 2, 3. We can gain 11 people here maximum. How many people can we gain here? 11 as well. I think 11 might just be the very common number. You know what, let's just talk to some workers. I'm gonna put the maximum effort into it as well, but I'm gonna give you a bicycle and we're gonna go from there. A very uneventful week, of course. We are not in any situation to actually go through with either of these opportunities here. Maybe they stay around, I'm not entirely sure, but I highly doubt it, especially, you know, seeing as it does say mission lifetime goes away in 1. We do still have these explosives. I don't know what we can use them for, but I'm hoping that we might be able to use them later on in one of the later chapters, if they stick around for chapters, which I can only assume they do. We lost more supporters yet again. We got 31 mark, very nice. I assume that Anna was able to retreat properly. There she goes. Did I recruit a new member? Oh, come on. You know what I'm going to enforce here? Come on now. He finds 3 who things might be able to, and he has been seen, but he did find 3 people. So let's just take a look at who we have here. A monarchist, a Christian liberal, and a social democrat. I think propaganda would be nice. We have a fairly, you know, we have a fairly strong squad when it comes to propaganda, but neither of these really appeal to me, and I think that is my main take on why I take Gustl Kleiner. Roman Hagelstein might be good. He is a monarchist, of course, which is kind of strange, or not strange really. We do have a Christian liberal over here in the group, but it's more that the stats don't really. I mean, you know what I would look what I was looking for was maybe a 4 in empathy, but a 4 in propaganda is a very strong start. So let's just go with that. Gustl, you're in. How did this go? Ah, come on, another. I'm gonna enforce here. Alright, they calmed down. You know, again, don't quite know how it works. We gained 7 new members. Arthur Friedrich has been seen. Let's just see what happens here. The morning sun shines on my face as I exit the train at Köpenick station. It's warm. I can tell summer is coming. I continue on my way to Marianne, one of our supporters who should be waiting for me already. When I make it to the Elsengrund neighborhood, not a single worker is on his way to the factory. No children are playing in the street. No one is out getting groceries. Take a look around here. Am I? Oh god, are they taking me away? A little further down the road, I see a white truck with a logo of a laundry service on it. It smells smoke, probably from campfires in the community garden nearby. I reach the small house in which Marianne and her husband Werner live, but both are former unionists who support the group. I'm gonna ring the bell. I ring the bell. Eventually a curtain in one of the windows is pulled aside and Marianne's face peers out. She sees me and opens the door. Are you insane coming here? She whispers, looking left and right, then quickly pulls me inside and closes the door behind me. Reminder of the appointment. I mean, I don't need to ask her why she's acting like this. We've been followed. I assume that she has been followed. If you support a group like this one, especially a group that just, you know, pulled off the action as we did, I think suspicion is quite the right reaction. Reminder of the appointment. We had an appointment, I say. What's the problem? We sit down in a dimly lit room. All the curtains are closed. A little girl is sitting in the corner drawing something on a piece of paper. I don't recognize her. Marianne and Werner don't have kids. Maybe a niece? What is it? What's the matter, Marianne? Why are you acting like this? Haven't you heard? She looks at me. The raids. They're happening everywhere in Elsengrund. They've arrested dozens of people. What did they do? She can tell you more. Marianne points at the little girl who has continued to draw quietly since I entered the room. Isolde, says Marianne, could you tell my friend Guido what happened yesterday? The girl stops drawing and looks at me. Take a look at the picture. What are you drawing there, I ask. This is my papa, and these are the men who took him, says the girl and continues. When I came home from school, there was a truck in front of our house, and Helene is my friend from school. Helene said, isn't that your father? And then I saw him too. What's her father's name? Her father is Götz Kilian. You probably know him. He's a teacher here in Köpenick, says Marianne. Thanks. There were men, 2 of them, holding Papa, and the third one was beating him up. I started to cry and yell at them, but they wouldn't stop. Could you see what the men were doing? Then they pushed him into the back of the truck and the men climbed up there too, and they kept beating him. I cried so loud that everyone could hear me. I begged them to stop. Then Mama came, and we looked for the truck. We found it at a pub. Papa was gone, but there were more of the bad men. When they saw Mama, they recognized her and wanted to take her too. Oh my god. I cried even louder. I cried so loud that I scared the bad men. They didn't dare to take her because they thought I would break their ears, she smiles. Then we came here to Aunt Marianne. But Mama is busy right now. She will pick me up later. Right, Aunt Marianne? Yes, Isolde. Marianne looks away. Thank you. You're a brave girl, Isolde. Thanks for sharing such a difficult story with me. But will you bring Papa back? I will try, I guess. You know, it's a really difficult topic. The destruction of families, of realities for children in particular that had no ideas about what was going on around them. That had no understanding of why things were happening. It is insane, and I think I personally don't think I can understand just how impactful such a situation is for the life of a child. And you know, it's a very limited point of view, of course, being as it's impacted so many more people, but as a child, how would you go and comprehend what is going on? I will try. Isolde, I will try. Thank you, she says. The girl resumes her drawing. I look at Marianne and ask her, where's your husband? Where's Werner? I don't know, she shakes her head. Didn't come home last night. Sorry. I'm worried sick, but I need to stay with Isolde. If you could go and find out where Werner is, I will find out where he is. Okay, I can make that happen. I probably cannot... Look, I probably cannot bring the children, the parents of Isolde back. I'm sure I can find him. Do you have any ideas where I should start looking for him, I ask? I really don't know. Isolde said the men who took her dad came in a white truck. Over the last couple of days I saw a white truck around here too. Maybe it has something to do with it. I say goodbye to Marianne and Isolde and leave the house. Outside, a white laundry truck drives past me at high speed. There's something on its back, but I can't see what it is. This is my lead. I'm gonna run after it. I run as fast as I can. The truck is quickly out of sight, but the road can only lead to one destination, Schmöckwitz Forest. It's chilly in the forest, despite the warm summer sun. I'm gonna move carefully here. I move carefully, watching out left and right. I follow the main path leading from Köpenick to Wuhlheide. When I reach an area with large leafy trees, I notice something hanging up high. Oh god. A huge sack is hanging in the branches like a butterfly cocoon. Find out what it is. I climb up to the tree and cut down the sack. Drops to the ground with a thud. Untie the rope. There's a pale face staring at me. It's Werner, Marianne's husband. His face is bloody and swollen. His right eye is missing. Feels sick. Swallow the acidic taste in my mouth. When I look up again, I see that there are more of these sacks. Many more. Many more. I gotta actually take a look at this. And I'm actually gonna do it right now. I have not heard of this. Let me just take a look. Schmöckwitz. Can't find anything right now. I don't know about this. Served as one of a multitude of Nazi torture sites. I have never heard about this. I'm not from the region, so I suppose that it somewhat makes sense, but I did not know this. The former prison in the Köpenick neighborhood of Berlin was a site of the worst violence in Berlin in 1933. A total of 24 people were killed here and around Köpenick over a 5-day period in June. It's known as the Week of Blood. The Köpenick prison has been turned into a museum, and in 2013 opened a big exhibition to commemorate the 80th anniversary of the Week of Blood and the Nazi rise to power. Holy crap. I have never heard of this. The people that were murdered in June 1933 in this forest. That's crazy, because it's so public. I don't have any commentary to offer for this, really. In July 1933, the NSDAP is declared to be Germany's only legal party. The Gestapo and SS arrest tens of thousands of dissidents and send them to concentration camps. Your leadership is strong and stable, and your group has recruited and retained enough supporters to withstand the brutal crackdown. End of chapter 1. We see here, per airpost, France, South America. Let's see what chapter 2 has ready for us. Man, that is... I mean... It should come as no surprise seeing, you know, how quickly the Nazis acted, how quickly they cracked down on things, but I gotta tell you, it does kind of kick me out. You know, when you see these things that you didn't know about, that you just haven't heard about, that's insane.
The bloodshed in Köpenick wasn't the first event of its kind, and it likely won't be the last. SA and police arrested tens of thousands of political opponents. Many were imprisoned, tortured, or killed. The Nazis banned all political parties except the NSDAP and made it clear that from now on they alone ruled the country. In November, Hitler won re-election with 92% of the vote. We went into hiding. It felt like there was nothing left we could do.
Let the world know the truth about Germany. You know, I really have to say that so far what the game does incredibly well is depicting just how kind of futile the fight of the resistance group really has been, despite whatever we have done, you know, despite whatever we have witnessed and we have tried to push for. None of it succeeded. The new status quo has been established fairly quickly, and we're now looking at a situation where we are quite clearly not going to do anything from the inside, really. I mean, you know, how are you going to overcome the newly erected and very secure state apparatus of the NSDAP and the new society that has been formed around it? Alright, anyway, after the Köpenick bloodshed, the Nazis arrested thousands of political opponents, many were killed or injured. This game, of course, now is chapter 2 in 1936, skips over the Knife of the Long Knives in 1934, but I think it has showed quite directly how the purging by the Nazis went through. We went into hiding, waiting for the right opportunity to come back and fight the regime. For almost 3 long years, we waited and watched things getting worse. Powerless, until that day in March 36. March 1936, of course, being the month of the reclamation of the Rhineland, and 1936 itself, the year of the Olympic Games in Berlin, in the Olympia Stadium. I'm very interested to see where this will take us, and I will also tell you that the section here right now that I am doing, it is resynchronized. I was sadly muted. You know, I hope that is okay. But I'm very, very interested. I haven't played more than this episode when I'm resynchronizing this, but I really hope that, you know, we're gonna see this height of the German Nazi power in an interesting light. I'll hand you over to Real Me again. Oh god, I was muted, wasn't I? I will have to resync that. Don't worry. An airship shaped like a giant cigar hovers over Tempelhof Airport. Hindenburg, the name of the former German president, is painted on the front of the hull. Hindenburg already deceased at this point. Hurry up, says Falk Lenz, leading the way to the entry barriers. Is this what you wanted to show me, an airship, or why the rush? Are we late for something? You wanted to show me an airship. He looks at his watch. In less than an hour, you will be flying in this airship, he laughs. A band plays military marches. Swastika flags flutter in the wind. The crowd starts cheering when the stairs of the Hindenburg are lowered. Pretend to join the cheering. I'm gonna keep quiet. I stare at the ground so people around me won't see that I don't join their cheers. One of the guards keeping the crowd from getting too close to the airship stops us. Halt. Only for invited guests. Oh, we are, says Falk and takes out a letter. The guard looks at the letter, hands it back and pulls back the robe. Mr. Lenz and Herr Schmidt, says Falk and smiles. Herr Schmidt is here because my wife couldn't make it. I hope that's alright. Of course, Mr. Lenz. Have a nice flight. I'm here instead of your wife. I'm here because your wife couldn't make it, I whisper. Falk laughs. Inside, the restaurant looks very luxurious, filled with red cushioned chairs and tables covered in white linens. There's even a little promenade with a window granting a look outside. The name is Lenz, says Falk to the waiter, who nods and leads us to our table. Why are we here? Again, would you please explain to me what we are doing here, Falk? You will enjoy it. It's amazing, says Falk and laughs. Forgive me if you can hear, by the way, there are some neighborly stuff going on. The crew of the Hindenburg yells commands, and I feel a soft pressure in my stomach as the airship begins to rise. I catch a view out of one of the windows and see the people on the ground getting smaller and smaller. I mean, I guess the view must be quite amazing. This is amazing, but also pretty terrifying, I have to admit. Told you so, says Falk, grinning. He orders 2 drinks. When they arrive, he raises his glass and says, "To you, Guido Book, and your brave group of heroes." Don't say those things in public. Calm down. This is the regime's home turf. No one would expect, well, us in a place like this. Which makes it the perfect place to discuss restarting the group. I lean my head towards his and lower my voice. Why now? We have been underground for over a year because of the Gestapo. Most of our former supporters are either scared, dead, or have left the country. Why do you think it would be a good idea to revive the group now? This is all true, Guido, says Falk, yet you must. For one inescapable reason. It is our last chance to stop a war. Hitler will start a war no matter what we do. Hitler is preparing for war. We always knew that. Everyone who wants to know knows it. What makes you think we can prevent it? I ask. This is a very good question, says Falk, and I will answer it. But first, you must excuse me for a moment. I just saw someone I need to talk to. Why don't you take a look around the ship? The view from the promenade window is marvelous, and they even have a lounge. It's the perfect place to meet interesting people. I think he brought us here to show us who the leadership in the new society is. At least that's the only way, the only thing that I can imagine to be true. Would you please answer my question first? Excuse me, I say, but Falk has already gotten up and is walking towards a man in a grey Luftwaffe uniform. They greet each other as if they were old friends and start talking. I'm too far away to hear what they are saying. I wonder what to do. Let's go to the lounge. Actually, let's look out the windows first, I suppose. I move close to one of the promenade windows and look out. Far beneath us, I see the city of Berlin. We are so far away that I can't recognize people on the street anymore. Even cars are hard to see. Isn't it wonderful, says an elderly woman next to me. You mean the way the city looks from here? Do you mean the wonder of flight, or the fact that the city looks so small from here, I ask. Both, she says. Isn't this a wonderful view to see the world? I think it reflects how everything works down there. Here we are, masters and mistresses, flying above the world. And down there is everyone else, so small, so insignificant, that you can't even see them anymore. I'm not sure I understand. We are their lords and masters, but they don't know it. She breaks into high-pitched laughter and reaches out her gloved hand. My apologies, I haven't introduced myself. I'm Countess von Falkenstein. Take her hand and introduce yourself as Herr Schmidt. We gotta play along here, I think. Schmidt. Well, if you say so, Herr Schmidt. She says and arches an eyebrow. May I ask, how come you find yourself on this fantastic vehicle? I work for the government. Interesting, she says. Hitler and his party are often proletarian in a way that disgusts me, but they know how to impress. You have to give them that, she points to a huge crowd that is assembled below to wave at the airship. You must feel pretty safe. No one dares to try anything. My family has been ruling this land for centuries. We survived the French, the Great War, the Revolution and the Republic. We will survive this too. Besides, I support the Führer. I think he is a masterful leader. Where does your family come from? We used to have properties all over the Reich, but today only a fraction of it is left. Some factories, a few estates, and the ridiculously humble villa in Wilmersdorf. I would invite you, but its simplicity would embarrass me. I understand. It is terrible, she says. If we didn't have at least a few lucrative contracts with the SS, we would have starved to death long ago. Is that why you agree with Hitler? Hitler promised to make Germany great again, and that is exactly what he is doing. He got us out of that shameful Treaty of Versailles, he got the Tsar Basin back from the French, and he will bring back the Polish corridor. It is very difficult, I have to admit, it's very difficult. I think I want to cut it short today, actually. I think my neighbors are building something, some sort of like closet or something. So I'm going to cut it short today after this airship stuff is over. But this might lead to war, don't you think? Now it is you who is risking his life, don't you think? But no, I don't think Hitler's actions will lead to war, she says. The people around him are sometimes questionable, but other nations look at us in awe. He made them respect us again. Do you really think so? The Jews, the communists, the Democrats, the unions, they have destroyed us. They all kept us from reaching our natural greatness. But look at us now. We shine and we rise. During the Olympic Games, the world will come to us, and the world will see the true, the great Germany. Go to the lounge. You know, the attitude, of course, was quite common, I think, in the old leadership. The Weimar Republic was still a realm, I think, of surviving nobility, where nobility still held so much power in comparison to many other nations, primarily because, of course, it was a nation born out of the Kaiserreich, in which everything was in the hands of nobility. No surprise that arranging oneself with a new status quo is good and easy when that status quo benefits one considerably. "Can I offer you something to read?" he asked. Oh, there you go. The lounge is behind 2 heavy gates, the second of which is guarded by a member of the Hindenburg crew. "Can I offer you something to read?" he asks as I'm about to enter. Sure. He hands me a news magazine. "Bring it back when you leave, please." The lounge has no windows and is illuminated by indirect artificial light. Comfortable leather armchairs are arranged around small tables. There's only one other guest when I enter. He smiles and offers me a chair next to him. Well, let's sit down. "Thank you, you are too kind," I say and take a seat. "What brings you to this miracle of modern technology?" he says with I can't even do an American accent. So, you know, just take it. "What brings you to this miracle of modern technology?" A friend of mine invited me here." "Really?" he says and raises an eyebrow. "Lucky you, I guess. Why are you here?" "Me? I'm a journalist, writing for the New Observer, an American magazine. I'm from the United States, as you might have guessed from my accent." "Yeah, I did think so." "Let me introduce myself. I'm Tom Fox, American journalist and danger seeker. If I wasn't, I would not be sitting inside a giant sack of hydrogen," he smiles. "What do you think about the new Germany?" "I love German culture, German food, the German language. Honestly, I had serious doubts about your government and the way they handle things before I came here." "You had doubts, but you still came?" "Yes, I did, and I don't regret it in the slightest," he says. "But after spending 3 months in the Reich, I must say, your country is up to something. I'll make sure that readers in the States get the real picture." "What is the real picture?" "What is the real picture?" I thought he asked back. "How's it different from the picture they have right now?" "There are lots of rumors about Germany," says Fox. "See, we like our freedom and the right to do what we like, but Hitler and his party seem to interfere in every detail of people's lives. And the Americans don't like that?" "No, we don't. Many American newspapers paint a picture of Germany as a country where people get arrested and killed by the government all the time. Many of us, me included, thought Germany was doomed when Hitler took over. But now you think differently." "Yes, I must admit that I'm impressed. Germany looks great, Berlin looks great, and the rumors about how the Jews are being mistreated seem to be exaggerated. In my 3 months here, I haven't seen anything problematic." It's easy to miss, I suppose. "So your story will be Hitler, one big misunderstanding?" "Pretty much, yes. Well, I'm sure that I don't want someone like Hitler for us in the US. I think that maybe for you Germans, Hitler is just what you needed." I cough. "Are you alright?" asks Fox. It's one of those things. I do think that back in the day, the system question was not as decided or not treated as decided as it is today. In Germany, for example, the German constitution safeguards the German society and the German constitution itself from any takeover, from any destruction of democracy. That is the mission and the task of a big section of the German constitution. Back in the day, of course, there was not a thing, we've talked about this before, how the Weimar Republic and the Weimar Constitution was drafted in a way where it could be amended in any thinkable direction. It could theoretically be brought back to an absolute monarchy, it could theoretically be brought back to, a stronger democracy, or to a fascist or communist dictatorship. There were so many open alleyways back in the day. The entire system question was treated as a proper matter of debate instead of a debate of, hey, you want to overthrow society and this is bad. Back in the day, I can totally understand the point of view of this character where he says, hey, the system question isn't decided, but for my culture this is good and for your culture maybe this is good. It was a very common attitude back in the day for sure. I don't want to listen. I'm not going to tell him. I'm not going to tell him anything. He clearly is caught up in his own idea of the situation. I'm not going to risk my skin for no reason. I'm alright, I have caught a slight cold. "Oh, I'm sorry to hear," says the journalist. "There's some things you should know about, though." "Oh god, come on, game." Oh, he says, this sounds interesting. I'm always interested in finding new sources, and be assured you can tell me anything. Informants stay anonymous. There's no real choice here, I suppose. Not here. Do you have a card? Of course. This is the address of my Berlin office. If I'm not there, just talk to my secretary. He hands me a business card. I need to get back to the restaurant. It was a pleasure to meet you, Herr Schmidt, he says as he gets up and leaves. Alright, okay, I see. He will be relevant in this chapter. I understand. You know, it was a bit of a fake choice, but I don't think that is necessarily a horrible thing if it is indeed as necessary for the coming chapter in the story as it seems. And there's the stadium, of course. I actually, you know, I don't get to Berlin often. Maybe like once a year. I don't think more often. But I was in Berlin and I actually had a tour, a guided tour through the stadium, and the way it was set up back for the Olympics was incredible. Where, you know, for example, you had the Adolf Hitler elevator and the Adolf Hitler escalator, all those things reminding people of who created this, supposedly, and who to thank for, and who to look at when it comes to the new glory that was presented during the Olympic Games. I mean, it is something that is done, I think, for many things, where you try to shine a bit of a fake light onto the reality of things. You know, when I think, for example, of the Iranian Shah visiting West Germany, the way it was done, they literally, and this is not even a joke, they literally, during the time of the Federal Republic of Germany, we're talking about the 50s or 60s, I want to say 60s, but I'm not entirely sure, they paved the streets that the Shah would be driving along, they paved them entirely new just for that visit. So we're talking about a democracy doing pretty much the same thing that, in this case, the Nazis were doing for the entire world. And of course, you know, it has worked, as we can see here with a journalist as well, and that was basically the idea that the Nazis try to uphold when it comes to their image in the world. Stay as innocent and peaceful for as long as possible. Just wait for Falk to come back, sure. I see Falk standing at the other end of the promenade, gazing at the horizon. The Luftwaffe officer is nowhere to be seen. I'm going to approach him, I'm not going to call him. Do you have time to answer my questions now? Of course. I'm sorry I left you alone. It was someone who might become very useful to us. I will introduce you eventually. What was it again you wanted to know? How could we prevent Hitler from starting a war? Hitler wants war, just not right now. He knows the Wehrmacht isn't ready yet. He needs more time. He needs the world to think that his Reich is just like any other country, that there is no German threat. The world thinks Hitler is harmless, he will win, so we must let the world know that what his plans really are. That's correct, says Falk. Let's face it, it's too late to fight Nazism from the inside. Even killing Hitler won't do it. Most Germans are happily following the regime. We need help from the outside. But if the world believes Hitler is harmless, the required help won't come. How shall we convince the world? What makes you think anyone will listen to us, I ask. Nothing, says Falk, but we have to hope that they do. Otherwise, this world will see war and destruction far worse than anything it has ever experienced. End of scene. Great excitement. How will elections turn out? The elections are taking place and everyone is eager to see how much the people approve of the Führer. Of course. Oh, we now get international papers. The Rhineland prepares for annexation. People of the Rhineland get ready to join the Reich. All they need to do is sign the ballot in favor of the annexation in today's election. And then the Globe. Nothing matters more than coal. Goebbels calls coal the most important resource and coal workers Germany's work heroes. 95% of the Reich's energy is produced by German coal-fired power plants. Look at that, they're actually all here. It's a bizarre thing to see Nazis holding each other back, says Jana Esser during tonight's meeting. I saw something really weird at a club last night. What happened at the club? So I went out for drinks last night. As I'm waiting in line to get there, I get in, there's a couple in front of me. He's black, she's white. The bouncer gets furious and tells him to piss off. There's the hammering, don't worry about it. That's ugly, but not unusual, is it? Wait for it, says Johanna and continues. A policeman shows up and goes straight to the bouncer. He whispers something we can't hear. Did the policeman actually make him accept the couple? That's exactly what I'm saying, says Jana. The bouncer grudgingly motioned for them to enter the club, and that was that. I suppose to keep up appearances. I think I know why that happened. He intervened because there were a lot of visitors and tourists there. They have to maintain image for now, I say. Look at that, we are back. Let's take a quick look, I think, at the map here. Okay, I can already see the big missions. I'm going to study those. We have 20. Okay, it's 20 weeks in this chapter. I fully understand now. We're going to go ahead and I'm going to study this off camera just to see what the ideal plan would be. I would really enjoy going ahead and being able to do some things that we weren't able to pull off last time, you know, help people to cross the border or Freedom Bell. Regime wants to make it look as if all people stand behind them. We do not, and we will show it to the world. Well, would you look at that? Blowing up the Olympic bell tower while the entire world is watching will prove to everyone that there are still people in Germany who are against Hitler and his regime. No, I tapped out. We no longer... Are you kidding me? We no longer have the bombs. Ugh. We'll make it too easy, I suppose. Now, with all the noise going on in the background, I will cut it off short here for today. But I will see you in the next episode when we dive into 1936. What a shame that we don't get access to the bombs, but this is definitely a good entry point, I think. This is an interesting entry point. People are pointing out, you know, that it kind of is kind of sad, so to speak, if that is the right word, I suppose, that we didn't see 1934 and the Night of the Long Knives, but I do think that the general terror and the cleansing and the purging that the Nazis undertook has come across quite well in the game so far, so I am very interested in finding out what is going on in 1936, but of course I do want to thank the members of the channel that are making this series possible, seeing as the series itself does not have any ads running on it. I want to thank the Barons, Aaron, Stefan, the Richest, T. Snowwolf, Emma Mello, and Thomas, as well as, of course, the Counts, Kermelik 2, Shifty, and Ixom the Naughty, and last but not least, the Dukes, Suspicious Duck, Benedict, Nathan, Knight of Squires, Kenneth, Lexto, Roboman, My Dad Left Me at Arby's, and Eric and Aiden. Thank you so much for supporting the channel, and I will see you guys in the next episode of Through the Darkest of Times. Until then.